assets, but also to regulate them. So the finance minister, who is in the United States to attend the G20 spring meetings as well as various meetings of the IMF, speaking there about crypto regulation, calling for crypto regulation in the United States. So in the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman speaking there and addressing the members of the G20 as she participates in various meetings that are being held. These are the spring meetings that are underway in the United States. She calls for crypto regulation. It's a big statement by India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. She said crypto assets should be regularized globally. India has always insisted that crypto has to be regulated, that it has to be monitored in the proper way. Now, the finance minister making that statement, making that contention clear on the world stage.
I am glad to say there is a greater acceptance among all G20 members that any action on crypto assets will have to be global. And therefore, that's, I think, one of the biggest advantage that the G20 and its members agree that it's not going to be possible to have an independent standalone country dealing with the crypto assets, and that it has to have a globally coordinated some kind of a understanding on how to go about regulating crypto assets. The way in which we are seeing this pan out during our presidency is that IMF's paper is being discussed, FSB's paper also will be taken up, synthesis paper will be prepared between the IMF paper and the FSB's paper, both put together. Also a discussion will happen in September, October. End of the day, we see a roadmap being readied on how and what kind of understanding the members of G20 have in this, and it can be taken further forward on specific actions of regulation as and when the G20 takes a call on it. I don't want to preempt the decision, obviously I cannot, the decision which the Council will take, but good work by FSB, good work by IMF, also indicating the direction of just not crypto assets being somewhat in the terrain of yet to be regulated, but the consciousness that crypto assets, particularly those which are outside of the central bank, being not backed by any sovereign asset, can themselves cause macroeconomic instability. So today we are at a position to see how countries are now recognizing that it is not just a crypto asset regulatory issue where countries will have to come together, but the IMF dealing with it has also brought in this dimension that there can be issues of macroeconomic stability itself. And today I'm very glad to have heard the European Central Bank chief, Christine Lagarde, speak about specific example of how money have been routed into this operation, resulting in too many such companies who are getting involved in it, raising questions of where the trail is. So it was very substantive discussion, and the agreement that all of them had was that, yes, it has got to be globally handled.
And joining me now, well, viewers, you heard what the finance minister said regarding cryptocurrency, India's stand on that. Joining me on the broadcast is my senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, to take us through take us through statements once again, and break them down about as far as their implications, about what they mean. Abhishek, it's over to you.
Well, so finance minister there as the chair of the G20 finance ministers of central that meeting, telling commenting on the crypto question that was asked, and it has been a matter of discussion both in the first meeting that took place in Bengaluru in India and now in Washington, D.C. In the United States. That's the pattern. 2 meetings of the finance ministers, central bank governors happened during the entire year for G20 event cycle. And remember, India has been quicker than the rest of the economies in terms of understanding between the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman and the RBI governor Shaktikanta Das the implications of crypto insofar as macroeconomic stability is concerned. In fact, RBI was the first one to flag these issues, including the misuse or abuse of crypto for terror financing, for drug trade, the impossibility of finding the trails of the money trail, and then the aspect of how to tax it, and the fact that you have to differentiate between crypto as a blockchain technology and the imperatives for macroeconomic finance, and not just for individual economy, but for global economy taken together. So I think that issue was flagged earlier by India, by RBI, and it was subsequently taken up in the finance ministers and central bank governors meeting in Bengaluru. Some discussion paper was floated. Now movement has happened forward on that front in the dialogue that has happened in Washington, D.C. As the finance minister explained, the technology would obviously be one step ahead. It's just a matter of regulators coming together and building consensus so that you can offset any negative impact of the technology, and the crypto being one example of that. So I think someone had asked this question about crypto's use, abuse, misuse insofar as terror financing is concerned, the possibility in the year of the Ukraine war as well, and then the overall macroeconomic architecture, the impact on macroeconomic architecture. Finance minister there making it clear that India has taken a position, and she was glad that now increasingly rest of the world, including, for example, she gave the example of Christine Lagarde, the central banker for European Union, she also coming around to the view that this is some issue on which the world needs to, or the global economies need to come together and act together, and G20 platform being one of them. So obviously, when G20 decides which accounts for 85% of the global trade and almost that much amount of global